Okay, and we are live.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Trail report there. Good job.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, everyone, thanks for joining our meeting on November 27th, 2023, Township of Cavan-Madigan, Millbrook Valley Trails Advisory Committee. We've got a couple people not here tonight, but we have a quorum. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I'm going to do our land acknowledgement. So we respectfully acknowledge the Township of Cavan-Madigan is located on the Treaty 20 Michi-Sageeg territory and the traditional territory of the Michi-Sageeg Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Nations for their care, for teachings about these lands. May we honor these teachings. Okay. Can I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Jackson?
Yeah, just Carly, did you get my email on the agenda?
No, I apologize. I have been up at the front today. So if it was recent, I have not seen it.
You have not seen it. Okay, that's fine. All right. So we need, because we're on Zoom, we need to call out the names of
Yeah.
all in favor?
So Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, yes.
McDonald? Maureen?
You're on mute, Maureen.
Wonderful. Happy to follow.
Yes.
Sorry, folks. Maureen, yes.
Thank you. Wall?
Yes.
Thank you. And Brown?
Yes.
And Matchell?
Yes.
Thank you. That's carried.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much for the approval of the agenda. The minutes of the meeting held October 23rd. Does anybody have any concerns with them? Any edits? If you could speak out, so because I can't always see everybody.
I'll move acceptance.
Okay, thank you, John. All in favor of acceptance?
Thank you, everybody. I apologize. Mr. Jackson, who was your seconder there?
I was.
Perfect. Okay, and if you can bear with me again. McDonald,
Yes.
Follis,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Natros,
Yes.
and Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Let's move on to section 7 reports. Section 7.1 financial report. Chris Allison.
As we're aware from previous meetings, we have an overspend of $26.40 on contracted services. We have had a change on this one with materials and supplies. Budget was $4,800 and the year-to-date actual is $4,853.95, which is an overspend of $53.95. I'm not aware of invoices that have come in lately. I don't know if anybody is aware of any recent invoices.
No, I don't have anything.
The financial report, we are over $26.40 in contracted services and $53.95 in materials and supplies.
Okay.
So recent being since last month's meeting, is that what you're meaning?
Yes, I believe at last month's meeting, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe we were, we still had $100 in that account to be spent, I believe, 150, somewhere around there. So we did have an invoice come in at some point to, put us over to 4,800.
You don't know what that invoice was?
No, I can, follow up on that.
Right. Did Dave D'Agostino use any, I thought he used all materials that we had for the bridge embellishment on Cedar Valley Trail. I don't think he added any materials to what was in the shed.
No, he said he was gonna buy some shingles, but we can, I mean, we're not gonna need shingles probably at this point, so we
Mhm.
can
Yeah, he's
put
already
that
done.
towards the 2024 budget.
Yeah. He's already done the repairs. That's the only new thing this month that I can think of. And my understanding was he had everything he needed. So
Mhm.
I don't know what invoice that would have been.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not sure, but
We'll follow up and, see what's happened there.
okay, fine. Thank you. Any questions on the financial report? No, Carly, do we need a motion to accept the financial report?
Yes, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Councilor Knapp.
Seconder?
I second.
Wonderful. Okay, for your recorded vote, Mr. Follett,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Natchez,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
and McDonald.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Moving on, section 7.2, Orca update, Meredith Carter.
Thanks very much, Chair Jackson. Very happy to let everyone know that our upgrades to the Jackson Creek Trail are complete. I think I mentioned that earlier in the year. Interpretive signage, new trailhead signs, posts recognizing donors, things like that. So lots of different parts to the project, but it's all finished. So we're really happy about that. We are still working on our new website. It's almost ready. So hopefully that will be live shortly, and it'll be a great improvement. And I think I mentioned in our last meeting as well, it's the same platform that our municipalities use. So you'll recognize it in terms of its form and function. It's the same as Kevin Monaghan. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday. So I guess Friday was Black Friday. Today is Cyber Monday. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and we'll be launching a campaign to fundraise for upgrades to the Herald Town Conservation Area. So if any of you follow us on social media, you'll get a blast out about that tomorrow. But we're quite excited. And we're working with the Herald Town Foundation, so you'll actually see some of his artworks included in some of our messaging. So that's kind of neat, bringing art and nature together. Our tree sales program, we are just getting that coordinated right now. That will be launching early in the new year. So you may want to start thinking about any tree seedling purchases that the committee wants to make. We can chat about that in our meeting in January. Personally, if anyone's interested, that will be up on our website early in the new year. All of our campgrounds are now closed. We had a great season and got everything all wrapped up there. And it started to snow today. I don't know if it was snowing in Millbrook. It snowed in Peterborough quite a bit. So nothing's staying on the ground yet. But again, the Jackson Creek Trail, we do have a partnership with the Kawartha Nordic Ski Club, and they groom that trail. So hopefully that will happen again once we get some snow. I think that's all I have for updates, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if people have any.
Thank you. Any questions for Meredith? No, motion to accept.
I move.
Maureen, seconded by Gary.
Sure, I'll second that.
Sorry, I
Wonderful.
guess.
For your recorded vote, Wall,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Natchez,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
and Follett.
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried.
Okay, excellent. Moving on to section 7.3, trail report. Gary, do you want to handle this
Yeah,
on
I'd like to
behalf
get
of
started
Dave?
with Yeah, so we had Dave's email there, which was nice and detailed, so we can refer back to that at a different time. So doing my portion of things, starting off at the Meds Mountain kind of upper entrance by the old school, still gets a fair bit of traffic. I just pointed out those exposed nails on the side rail of that first bridge. Overall, though, the bridge is quite good. The boardwalks after that, there's just the one loose one, which is hanging down. Sent in a picture of that one as well. That will need to just be fixed or replaced, perhaps. And then getting into Meds Mountain by the higher trail entrance, there's two trees hanging down. One was off the trail, but it is leaning towards the trail. It was actually making some nice sounds of about to break when I was going past it the other day. So I didn't stay there for too long. But then the other one, the picture below, if you've seen that one is hanging over the trail itself. And it does look like it's going to come down soon enough at some point. And you can access it to get a chainsaw to it just by the side of the trail there. So hopefully we can take care of that one sooner rather than later.
Yeah, can I just stop you there, Gary? So I can try to tackle the replacing the board on the bridge and the boardwalk in the next day or two. John, how are you for looking at those two trees?
Actually, I had a discussion with Chris about that as to whether I should be doing this, and my perception of that is that's going to be a staff thing from now on. Is that fair to say?
I think our best approach at this is to have staff that are trained and with proper equipment of cutting trees off the chainsaw. So we'll get staff out there this week.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, Gary, continue.
No problem. Yeah, then moving on from there, when we get to the closed section of the med loop that connects to the new bridge, we've still got the closed signs up there. There's that other tree hanging down quite low over that first little boardwalk bridge. I'm sorry, I missed a picture as well. There's another low hanging tree just over that section of Meds where you hit that corner where you can see the fields. There used to be a fence there, by the way. That fence isn't there anymore. I don't know if that concerns us or if that's the private property owner. Just in case people are going off the trails into that field, I don't know if it makes a difference. But anyway, just around the corner from there, there's another low hanging tree. It's quite safe. It's very supported, but you can actually touch it and reach it there. So if we want to get to that with a chainsaw, please check it out. Then moving down to the lower Meds Mountain Trail section, that last little bridge over the little creek there, again, same story, just a few exposed nails sticking out of the side rail. Otherwise, the bridge is quite healthy. Overall, the boardwalks are looking quite good as well down there. Now, getting across the new floating bridge, as has been discussed in the past, the area where there are no boardwalks is just generally wet, generally spongy. And, you know, we will need to address that in springtime. It does look like there might be a second beaver dam up there, but it just seems like the area is just going to be prone to flooding over and over again. So we will need to kind of address that probably in next year's plan, and we've discussed that at other meetings too. The boardwalks are looking good enough. Some of them are a little bit, you know, not solid, but honestly, I would say good enough for general public use. So that's where we're at with that section of the trail. And then when I made it down to the fairground entrance, there's no leaflets there. Same at the Meds Mountain entrance, there's no maps or leaflets there for now either. And then the rest of Baxter Creek Trail is looking really nice. And as I pointed out, that section of the old trail that runs right along the creek that used to be closed off because it was prone to flooding, that's the best it's looked in about 4 years' time since I've started using the trails. It's actually very dry. It looks like it's safe for public use. I think people have been using it. So that's actually a nice positive to point out there. And then I didn't make it further down. So that last little section from there onwards to Zion line didn't make it down. So I don't have anything to comment on that last portion. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, so before we get on to Dave's section then, so Chris, can the staff look at those issues as well? In the second part of Gary's email?
Like the wet areas, is that what you're referring to?
No, the tree just before the
trees are
closed
not-
section events.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we can look at
and
it.
yet, just to note Gary, the issues that you spoke about, I mean, that trail is still closed, just from a public perception. So, but yeah, we're aware that, of those issues existing. Okay.
I wonder, just to bring to everybody's attention who wasn't here last time, the work that was done on that former lost loop that is now refreshed and easy to find, that was all done by Chris Allison's crew for us. So we have a lot to thank them there for bringing that trail back to life.
Yeah, thank you. Maureen, have you spoken to the Stevens about that fence and the access there? I thought you had said you were maybe going to talk to them a few meetings ago.
The last I spoke to them was about a year ago. I haven't been able to get a reply from Brandon since, so I'll try again.
Okay, because we can put something up there, but yeah, I can't even see the pieces. I mean, there's some there, but
Yeah.
it needs to be rebuilt, and there are people going into the field, though don't really understand why. Okay, yeah, if we can get a response from them, then maybe we can come to some sort of agreement on what needs to be done there.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Gary, do you want to go through David's trail report?
Sure, let me just bring that up. Okay, so he was happy with most things south of Zion Line, and I know he's been busy down there with his mountain bike crew. They've been doing a lot of maintenance work and taking care of things, which is great. So we can thank them for that. He spoke about Cedar Trail, some erosion on the steep hill closest to the parking lot that should be repaired with a trail tool. It's likely a result of mountain bike braking and climbing combined with rain washing down the fall line. Hopefully that the new Millbrook MTB trail branching off Cedar Trail will divert a lot of traffic away from this section of the fall line trail. And he wrote, I plan to install handrails and shingles on the ramps of the bridge in the coming weeks.
Yeah,
Grand
that's
Trunk
been done.
That's been done? Great. And then Grand Trunk Pathway, he talks about two prominent wet areas that are beginning to resurface and will be a problem again in the spring, delaying trail opening. One, I've suggested a simple reroute for in the past between the second pond and the stone bridge, diverting traffic to slightly higher ground through the cedar forest for approximately 50 meters, branch trimming only, no grade changes required. The other is at the base of the gully, heading uphill from the stone bridge, and could potentially be fixed by regrading the low points with trail tools to ensure that it sheds water. That's what he had to say about Grand Trunk. Railbed and Meadow Trail are in excellent shape. Scanning transit, he says there are some signs of dirt bike use, perhaps only on the trail once or twice. No damage, but tracks are evident in a few locations. No further problems with the unofficial connection point to the property to the north, midway on the eastern portion of the trail. We had noted back in summer that a trail had been cleared, evidently to connect a neighboring property. I haven't noticed any changes or signs of use since. Several loose boards need to be reattached along the boardwalk that is located on the south side of the western bridge. The boards are attached to old cedar logs and will require screws or nails that are at least 4 inches in length. Please check old boards if you go. Moving on to Fire Route 3 DLD tour. In the eastern portion, I would like to request assistance from the township to add gravel and do some minor grading work to help with water collecting in the tire ruts along this roadway. It is well used and a little bit of maintenance would go a long way. Western portion between Glamorgan Road and Ganny Transit, tree down that requires a chainsaw. And that is Dave's report.
Okay, so Chris, is that another one we could add then? The western portion between Glenmorgan and Ganny Transit for your chainsaw crew?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the first part of Dave's report on Fire Route 3 DL detour. Are you able to talk to roads about adding some gravel, or is that you?
So that's one we're gonna have to look at and see what's really going on out there. And yeah, I'll have to talk to Public Works to see if they can even get in there and get some gravel in there with their machinery.
Okay, so can I follow up with that with you on that later?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll follow up with Chris on the chainsaw stuff in the coming week. And I will try and get out in the next day or two and fix those first two issues behind my house on the bridge and the boardwalk. Any other questions or concerns regarding trail reports? Oh, and sorry, Maureen, if you could try and see if we can get a response from Stevens on the gate.
For sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Gary and Dave, for those reports, very detailed. Can I have a motion to accept the reports, please?
So moved, Wallace?
Seconded.
Thank you. For your reported vote, Brown,
Yes.
Natchoff,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
and Wall.
Yes.
Thank you, that's carried.
I might add, for those of us who are newer and whose trail reports will start coming in with regularity, just to know that the Cavan Monaghan Township email doesn't accept very much in the way of photo data. So you're best to send everything medium or small unless detail is really, really important. And quite often I find my trail reports I have to send in 2 or 3 sections rather than as a big email. Otherwise it bounces back.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Okay, moving on to section 8, general business. 8.1, 2024 meeting and trail report schedule. Carly, is that you?
I apologize, I didn't put my name. That one is definitely me. So for those virtual, I'm just gonna bring up the Word document, what I have in front of us today as well. And really just take a look. If there's any conflicts, we'll change that meeting date now. It is following the, I just have to stop sharing. It is following the terms of reference, so the 4th Monday of every month, excluding the months July, August, and December. And just bear with me one moment. Pull that up so you can see the color. Okay, there we go. So just looking for the committee's feedback on if there is any conflicts with dates. Otherwise, if you could please advise who would like to tackle which trail report. I can type right into the computer here. And then at the end, if I could have a motion to accept the final 2024 date and trail report.
Okay. Anybody have any issues with those dates?
Nope.
No. Okay, let's start assigning trail reports then. I can do January and May.
I can do March.
We need 2 people for each month.
I'll do it with Maureen as we've done, so. I'm fine with March. Maureen, what other, you wanna do March and June?
Sure.
Through you, Chair, just a question for Maureen. Maureen, what months do you start looking for the invasive species, or do you do that separate from your trail report at the time?
Yeah, June is ideal actually. So it just depends on what spring is like, but June is helpful to me.
Um,
Oh, sorry, Rob was January and March. No, sorry, Rob was January and
January and May.
May.
Do you want to have, why don't we put Kirk down to do those with me?
perfect. I was just thinking for those who aren't here, we can assign them.
I could do
Yes,
February, April and September.
Sorry, go ahead.
I might as well say February and, what's next? April, I guess.
Okay.
Lots of budget then.
Yeah. I'm out there anyways.
So you both will go together and then that will be you and Dave then?
I guess that leaves me a day for the
Okay.
other days, that's fine.
Okay.
So no work for you guys till later in the year. And then just get. Yeah, here, I'm just seeing if we can break that. in.
I'm
Do you wanna
wondering if
have,
it might be a good idea to get Dave out there in the spring, one of the spring months.
yeah,
April.
okay, so why don't we switch, May, Kirk and I from May to September.
Mhm.
And then
And then who else are we missing? That's everybody, right?
Yeah, Dave's only got, oh, David's got two. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I can do November with somebody who wants to do a third one.
We missed
I
one.
can
does that
probably,
work?
Yeah, that works for me.
I can probably do November, works,
Okay.
I can join.
You're.
no bugs, but.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, wonderful. So this is what it looks like.
No, I
That's
don't,
great.
I think, no. Are Brown and Follis due in November?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Okay, so yeah, that'll go out in the meetings, in the minutes. I'm just gonna take a quick picture of it now.
And I will also send it to everyone.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Good.
Okay.
Warning, Mr. Chairman. If I'm not back for the, meeting in February, it means I got lost on the west end of, the Ganny Transit, so you can send somebody out to look for me.
Great, thank you.
So,
Okay.
Chair, if you could call for a mover, seconder, and then a vote.
Yeah, could I have a approver for that, please?
I'll move it.
Second,
And so for our recorded vote, we have Natasha,
Yes.
thank you, Jackson,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes,
Wallace,
yes,
Wall,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes.
Thank you, that is very wonderful.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to section 8.2, remaining 2023 purchases. So I put this in because I was under the understanding that from last month that we did have some surplus. According to the financial report, we don't have surplus. So I went out Friday, on Black Friday, and purchased a new drill and driver, Milwaukee drill and driver with batteries, because it was 40% off, and it came to $200. But I know I purchased it without permission. I've got 90 days to return it. I haven't opened it, etc. So I guess I'm looking to the township that I should probably be looking at taking that back.
Yes, we're overspent as it is right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I was under.
If you'd like to wait,
thought-
like I can look into the invoice that has came in. why we have an overage, I'm not 100%, so. It's up to you, if you wanna take it back, or you can wait and, we'll find out what that invoice is.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I just, those things are always needed and I thought it was a good deal, so.
I know
And-
it's not exactly kosher, but could you not hold on to it and just submit it in 2024 as a new purchase?
I don't know, what would the township's view be on that? Because the invoice date would be
Invoice
just November.
23. The invoice is
Sorry.
2020, right, so it would be a 2023 purchase.
Okay,
Right. So we're not able to do that.
I will have to double check, but,
Okay.
We can confirm the, the budget and the expenditures with our director of finance, and if there is any opportunity for the committee, we can follow up with the committee. I don't know that answer at this time.
Yeah, that's fine. I can follow up with the township directly. Like I said, I mean, I was there for other stuff anyway. I just saw it and purchased it, but obviously with the caveat that we knew we could take it back easily. Okay, any other questions then? I guess we don't, sometimes we talk in this time of year, we talk about what to spend our remaining money on. Doesn't look like we have any remaining money this year. So are there any other discussions before we move on to 8.3? No? Okay, great. 8.3, the pamphlet and boxes. So this is also me. We've been talking for a while about new boxes for pamphlets. And Lance, have you had a chance to speak to your contact in town?
I talked with Brooke again, and so I haven't heard back from him, but I reached out to the new owner that purchased the business from Brooke. And he said that he would be happy to build something for us. I'm just waiting to hear back from him for what a price is, because he's also building me a ramp for my store, and I need that like before the snow hits the ground. So I'm hoping to have something for you that hopefully we'll hear something. I did follow up again on Friday, but didn't hear back. So I should hear something before our next meeting that I'll just contact you directly, Rob.
Okay, that's good. So we could push that to January. I guess a question for the township. We are out of pamphlets and have been for quite some time. So if we are on overspend on both of our budgets by 50 or so dollars each, is that a special request we'll have to make to print pamphlets, or is that something we'll have to wait until 2024 to be able to print?
I think we'd have to wait till 2024. We're coming into December right now. Are you ready to print right now, or can we wait till 2024?
Yeah, so if we can, yeah, we look there, we have zero. So all the boxes are empty, but the trails aren't used that as much as in the summer months, obviously, not once the snow comes. So the need for them isn't as great. But yeah, I think we could. I'd like to have them, before the spring.
Oh yeah, for sure. We just push off till January.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with that?
It are the graphics and information, it's all been proofed and everything, they're ready to go?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any questions on that then? Okay. Moving on to section 8.4, TCS student volunteers. So Dave was going to talk about this. He's not in. I'm not sure how many people Dave sent his email to about this. I'm sorry, I'm just bringing it up now. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, so I think he sent it to most of us. So I'll just read it to refresh everybody's memory. Hi, everyone. Some teachers from TCS have reached out to me about a potential student volunteer work. In early December, they made the same offer to the mountain bike club last year, and because of the warm weather we had, who are actually able to help us with trail building. The mountain bike club is going to put them to work one afternoon to help carry about 50 planks of cedar into a new boardwalk location. Is there anything we might be able to put them down to work on the Millbrook Valley Trail side of things? It sounds like they're willing to do pretty much anything, and they are happy to work independently if the job permits it. Some examples they suggested were garbage cleanup, raking, or leaf blowing, moving stones or rocks, but apparently they are also happy to do digital work like create signage or graphics for social media. Let me know as soon as possible if you can think of anything that might need doing. Now, I obviously don't have access to Dave's email to see who responded, but I responded with a couple of ideas. And then Maureen, you responded about the bridge ramps on Station Trail and Cedar Bridge Trail needing shingle or traction strips. I think that's done. And then there's buckthorn on the east side of, and a cedar on the west side of the bridge that perhaps we could use to tie off the thick ship rope with the other tied to the bridge deck banister. Also the 6x6 directional signpost by the first trout pond is down. So Dave is going to Dave responded that the TCS students probably need straightforward work to do with materials and tools provided to them in advance. He's going to be out there to help them on the Thursday afternoon, but he wasn't available on the other days. So does anybody have any updates other than that from Dave in terms of if there's anything been decided and what days they may need people out there?
No, I haven't. I have a feeling that we'll have a better sense of what they're willing and able and allowed to do once Dave's had that first work day with them. I'm not sure whether they'll be allowed or able to do more or less than regular public high school and separate school high school students are, and who will be accompanying them from the school. So and it's our first, as far as I know, it's our first experience with working with them, other than those who lived in the village and whose parents were with them when they came and volunteered for work days. So maybe Dave could give us more guidance, and then we could feed him ideas from what we have heard of the trail report.
Yeah, okay. I'll follow up with Dave this week and just see sort of what he's decided and sort of what days he's going to be getting together with him. Sounds like it's next week, right? The 5th to the 7th.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's needed, and if there's additional help we need or guidance, and we'll send out an email, and we might ask for volunteers and who is available. Does that sound good?
Yes.
And through here, you can't see my hand, I apologize. I just want to put the comment out there that if they're doing work on the Millbrook Valley Trail Committee, I think it's extremely important that, like our work days, we have at least a committee member, if not a few, helping them, and that we as the committee aren't sending these students out on their own.
Yeah, no, we
so
wouldn't send them out alone.
Just some of those comments. So Chris and I are here if anything needs to be coordinated from the township end.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, we wouldn't send them out alone, so that's great. Thank you. Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, sorry, I just want to go back really quickly to 8.2, around 2023 purchases, just before we move on. I failed to mention this previously, and again, it's a question for Carly and Chris. On Dave D'Agostino's trail report, he mentioned that there's been some dirt bike activity on Ganny Transit. He and I spoke about this as well. If we needed additional signs, a couple of additional signs stating no motorized vehicles, would we need a special discretionary spend for that, seeing as it's out of budget? Or how would we handle that if we wanted to sort of put that up in the coming weeks?
So we just looking for no motorized vehicle signs? That's it?
Yeah.
You're not looking at your Millbrook Valley trails on them, just a plain sign?
Well, we've done some on both, Chris. We've got just plain no motorized vehicles, but then we've done some that are sort of more specific to the trails, but I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, so I think we can get some signs up. We do, I believe we do still have some signs left here, no motorized vehicles. We can just
Okay,
get
perfect.
out, waiting around for that one.
Okay, great.
Rob, from what Dave and yourself saw, did the dirt bikes originate somewhere farther west than Dial Detour, or did it come in along the detour and then go along Vanny Transit?
I didn't actually see them. I just spoke to Dave about them. So David, have to answer that question, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
I'm not sure that signs are gonna, obviously solve the issue, but you know, it's better than nothing at this point.
Mhm. So there's
Maybe,
there
sorry.
there are no motorized vehicle signs, or no, I think it's unauthorized motorized vehicle signs already at the entrance of Fire
Yeah.
Route 3.
Yeah, I know.
So probably farther along would
Yeah,
be
that
best.
was my thought too. Just put them further along, just to remind people that may have cut in.
Mhm.
Again, I'm not sure it's going to solve the problem. But sorry, Chris, did you have a comment on that as well?
I was thinking, would it be best to get a couple signs to David himself, because he knows right where they are, maybe, and you can see if he wanted to put them up.
Yeah, I can check with them on that. If you can let me know if you actually have some.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, moving back to section 8.5, Baxter Creek Trail Bridge update. I think this is supposed to say trail bridge and boardwalk. So I know let's talk about the boardwalk first. I know there was quite a lengthy discussion last month about this. I apologize that I wasn't able to be at that meeting, but maybe I can ask Chris in the township for just sort of a brief update as to where we are on that.
So the update now, 2 meetings ago, I guess it was, when, we were looking to replace the boardwalk. Since then, we sort of ran out of time with, weather-wise. And, moving forward, we're looking to put money, towards capital, ask council for an ask in capital for monies to fix the boardwalk and bridge, Baxter Creek Bridge.
In the 2024 budget? Okay, and would that be that money, Chris, would that be for just the section that we talked about or the entire section?
So we're trying to get as much as we can. So the one section, so the boardwalk is closed because of the westerly section, right? So that is a must to get done. The bridge, in my opinion, is a must to get done. It's in pretty rough shape. And then it'll be council's decision on how much funds, if they're willing to approve any funds, how much funds we have. We'll have to work with what is approved.
Okay, and now speaking of the boardwalk only, presumably will we have to get a revised quote in the spring?
We will have to get quotes when we do the work again, yes.
Okay.
We'll have to follow our procurement procedure.
Okay, but for the bridge specifically, and we're talking about the Baxter Creek Bridge, the first one here coming through off the Meds Mountain Park. Is that still something that you're not thinking of contracting that out? We're just asking for the money to be able to purchase the materials for the committee to build?
Well, we haven't seen anything from the committee as to drawings for the building department to look over. We will have to make sure that that is built to safety standards. So if we have to contract it out, we will contract it out if we figure something out. That
Okay, so I spoke to Kyle Phillips about it, the building inspector.
okay.
So, but I mean, I'm just in terms of what we plan to do, I understand that we still have to provide sort of more detailed drawings, but I just wanted to clarify that was the township looking to contract that out, or is that something that they think the committee could handle as we've done in the past?
Myself, I have not seen anything from Kyle. I have not heard from Kyle on it, so. It comes down to, we've got a liability issue and it's just gonna have to be built to approval.
Yeah.
So maybe I will follow up with Kyle and see the discussion you two had and see what his thoughts are.
Okay. Now, do you have a timeline for the bridge specifically?
We have no timeline as of right now. It'll all go through the budget process.
Okay. And we'll know those numbers by March? Is that correct?
Through you, Chair, that's correct. I believe our last budget meeting is scheduled in February. I'm just February 20th is our final budget meeting, which is a regular council meeting. So we will have answered by then.
Okay, so looking back to our last discussion then, so our meeting is February 26th, so presumably we'll have some idea of what monies have been allocated for those projects by then, and then we can move on from there, yes?
Through you, Chair, that's correct. And Chris can speak to that in his financial update on the 26th.
Okay, good. All right, anybody have any questions around that? No? Okay, wonderful. Moving on to section 8.6 then. So I put this in just as sort of a bit of a reminder, and again, looking for an update from the township. So Millbrook Highlands Phase 2, we were asked a long time ago now, many months ago, maybe a year or so now, to provide some initial input on the proposed linkages to Phase 2. I'm just putting this in here on the agenda to ensure that we are kept up to date and that the committee can still be involved in this. I've not kept up to date sort of outside of the committee in terms of what the status is on that development. So I'm not sure if anybody from the township is able to tell us where it's at, what's happening, and if there's a need at this point for us to get re-involved, or if it's going to be still a long time coming.
So at this point, I think it's still in the working and design stage, and I think it's best for us if we just defer it to the new year.
Okay. So there's no imminent decisions in late 2023 that are going to happen that'll be affecting this, yeah?
At this time.
Okay. Excellent.
Through you, Chair, and for the committee, if there is any specific questions around this, please feel free to follow up with Chris and myself through an email, and we can certainly circulate that to our planning department, so that if there is something specific you're looking for, we get you that answer.
Well, yeah, again, like we just saw some very initial drawings about, proposed design, and I think it was when Matthew was still on the committee, and I'm just wondering if those plans have been solidified or decided upon, or if designs have changed, and if we need to sort of rethink linkages and that sort of stuff. But yeah, if there's not going to be any decisions in the next few months, that's good to hear, and we'll just we'd like to be kept abreast of what's happening, and we want to sort of solidify our ability to be able to interact with this and have some input if necessary.
I think it'd be best if staff reported back in here.
Okay, great. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay, moving on to 8.7, items for next meeting. Does anybody have anything they'd like to address over and above what we talked about this evening?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I was wondering if we could start having the work plan as part of the agenda used to be included and now it's not. Excuse me, the reason I bring it up, it was an issue I raised the last time and it was not a huge issue. But if it doesn't go on the work plan, I can mention it at the next meeting. And it refers, this time it was whether there's a necessity for a board or plank along the bottom of the fairground stairway. So anyway, it's not critical, but if there's something that maybe was missed, we can deal with it at the follow-up meeting.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Through you, Chair, I think Mr. Falls is correct. I would be happy to circulate the most current version that I have of the work plan. And if over the holidays, the committee would like to provide me comments, we can bring forward the most up-to-date work plan for January and then use that going forward. Would that be okay?
Very helpful.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I think, again, if we could include the work plan just as a staple in the agenda going forward, that would be good as well.
I'll try to get over there in the next few days and take a picture of that spot, the spot in question, so that people can see what you're talking about, John, because it might be something that we want to get done.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, it's not meant as a criticism of the committee or anything, but I'm not sure it's that critical, but if we should be doing it, I'd like to be doing it.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing that I'd bring up is, now that I'm not running a chainsaw anymore, I'm available for other activities, and it seems like a lot of the work devolves to the chair of our committee. So if there's some time you're headed out there when you need an extra pair of hands, I would be willing to participate. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'll keep it in mind. No, I mean, that's, I think we all do a lot of work and, especially this last month, Dave Castino in particular has done a lot of work. So, and it's always, great for people like Maureen who sort of bring those issues to our attention as well, and invasive species and all that stuff. So yeah, it's absolutely a team effort. Okay, so I think I've got a couple things to add to the next meeting. I'm just gonna bring it up here.
For you, Chair, just while you're looking for your information, I just wanted to just an FYI for the group, in case for those that weren't aware, at the last council meeting, a delegation did come forward interested in the purchase of some public lands owned by the township south of Ann Street toward in that area. Council voted against the sale of the land. And at this time, the position of council is to not be divesting any publicly owned properties. And so with the earmark of, since it's in the Valley Trails system, it could be potentially utilized down the road. So that was one of the primary reasons why council voted not to release itself of that property.
Okay, thank you. And that's, can you tell us, Lance, was that a unanimous decision?
Yes, it was.
Okay, great, thank you. Kurt, I'm just wondering if we could add for the agenda items for the for next meeting, tree removal and replacement update. Again from Chris Allison. So we had in the fall one of the trees removed in on just at the end of Distillery Street and Meds Park. And then there's still the dead ash on the other side of the dam, right close to Ann Street, sort of across the street from Kirk's house. And I think, Chris, you had said that was a larger project that maybe Public Works was going to have to look at, and just looking for an update on that. And also the replacement. So my understanding that there was maybe some sort of replacement fund. So you take a tree down, you can replace it. So I'd like to see the 3 trees that will eventually be taken down, because actually there was another tree taken down on the other side of the dam as well when the one here in Meds Park was taken down as well. If we could potentially plant something a bit more appropriate, and not as susceptible to disease, etc. That could be something we could look at in the spring. So if we could add that to next month's or January's agenda, that would be wonderful. Any other questions? Any other additions for next meeting? Anything else anybody would like to bring up before we adjourn?
I guess, Carly, if you put the lookout gate fence on the January meeting agenda, I'll be more apt to press for a response. So I'll, because that's been hanging over us for quite a while, that question of what to do.
Okay. All right. Well, could I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I will second.
Wonderful. One last recorded vote, please. We have Jackson,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
and Natchaw.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you all.